Hi, I'm Jesse. Today I'm going to be showing you how to set up a single microcoil in an iGo W. The tools that we're going to need to set this up is something to check the resistance. I've got a little ohms reader right here. Some Kanthal, I'm using some 28 gauge and then just cut to a length about 3 or 4 inches. And then a pair of scissors, Phillips head screwdriver, a drill bit, just something small to wrap the coils around, and then a cotton ball. We prefer to use organic cotton. Alright, so for wrapping the coil, what I'm going to do is attach it, just hold it and pinch it between my fingers with this drill bit here. And then I'm going to start the wrap, trying to keep them as close together as possible. And I'm going to wrap it about 6 times to get the desired resistance. 4. Then I'm going to come around just about halfway to kind of keep the pressure tight around there. And then I'm going to turn it around. And then have this one come back a little bit further. So it should have something like that. So from here, what I'm going to do is actually pinch the coils with my fingers and then just straighten out these legs or leads. Just like that. And then we're ready to attach it to the device. So now what I'm going to do is loosen 2 of the terminals, one of them being the positive, and then the other being one of the side negative terminals. And then after that, I'm going to take my coil, and then I'm just going to make sure the legs are facing about the same way. And then I'm going to try to attach one lead through the middle, and then the other one going through the other leg. It helps if these are at different size leads so that you can put one in before the other. You might have to back off the screw again just to give yourself more room to work with. And then you should just slide in, and you want to push it in right until it's inside that deck right there, just like that. And then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the coil so that it's in place so that it won't move anywhere. And then I'm going to attach the negative first, just until it's snug. You don't want to put too much pressure because that'll actually cause the wire to break. And then finally the middle terminal, just like that. And then what we should have is something that fits in there snugly so it's not just sliding out again. And then from here, what I'm going to do is just cut off these extra legs here. So I'm just going to take some nail clippers, just like that. And now what I like to do before I test to see how it's glowing is I like to take the drill bit and actually kind of move it around, make sure it's level with the holes in the post and that it's pretty even and not facing down or up at all. And then from there, what you can do is just slide the drill bit out. And you should have something that looks like that. Alright, so before we attach it to a device, what we're going to do is check the resistance to make sure it's safe to fire on a mechanical mod. And this one's reading at about 1 ohm, almost 1.1, so that's going to be just fine for us. So now what we want to do is make sure that the coils are all lighting up evenly, preferably from the middle to the outside. So I'm just going to give it a couple of test fires here. Alright, so that should work out fine. Usually what you can do if it doesn't look like this is you can take some small tweezers, kind of push them closer together, or try to evenly space them out, but with this kind of micro coil, the point is to have them as close together as possible. What I'm going to do now is just take my cotton ball, and then I'm just going to unroll it a little bit, kind of pull off a nice fluffy piece, something just like that. And then I want to roll it into kind of a rope shape form so that it forms like a wick. So I'm just going to roll this. You don't want to roll it too tight because what that's going to do is actually choke off the capillary action. And then on one side, what you can go ahead and do is just thread that down nice and tight so that it forms sort of a needle so that it's easier to thread through the coils. And then once that's ready, what you can do is just guide it through. and then just lightly pull through, just so that you get some resistance, but you don't want it too loose or too snug, because again, that'll kind of choke off the wicking action. Some balance like that. And then what I can go ahead and do now is cut off the excess cotton. And then for one side, I like to trim it right up to the deck, just like that. And then also for this side, I want to wrap it around just so that I can have more cotton holding the liquid, and then trim that off, just like that. And then you can just kind of stuff it together. You can take like one of the screwdrivers, just so that it's going to fit inside that top cap. And now I'm ready to go ahead and add some liquid. And I want to make sure that all the cotton is nice and saturated, that I get some right directly on the coil, just to help kind of prime it. And then once it's more saturated with liquid, it gets a lot easier to work with and hold in place. Alright, and then now when we fire it, we shouldn't see any of the coils glowing, we should only see vapor. And that's how you set it up.